Chair calls Emily French, representing Common Cause Texas. Welcome back, ma'am. I show you registered as Emily French. You are here representing Common Cause Texas, and you're here to testify against the bill.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Assuming
well,
Representative Raymond doesn't try to talk me into a different
there's
position.
always risk of that,
Very
but you may
frustrating.
proceed.
I'm here to testify in opposition to 1489. This bill, as written, would prohibit an officer or employee of this state from distributing an unrequested voter registration form. As currently written, this bill would make it illegal for a county office to have voter registration forms placed on a counter or at a walk-up window or given out in packets of other information like they typically do. Under 1489, a would-be registrant would have to say a specific trigger phrase in order to get a voter registration form at a county office. I couldn't get a form out of a county official by saying, "Is there anything else I need to do at this appointment?" Or, "I sure wish I could get a voter registration form," or, "Do you know where I could get a voter registration form?" Since none of those phrases are an actual request for a form. Voter registration is a really good thing. I don't know why we would hide it behind a set of magic words. I'm not concerned about someone who has a felony conviction, someone who is not a citizen, registering on one of our voter registration forms, because at the very top, it says qualifications, and those things are listed along with age requirements, residence, a couple of other things. I think the form is pretty foolproof on that front. I'm also concerned that this bill does not carve out voter registration agencies designated under Section 20.001 of the Election Code, Health and Human Services, Texas Workforce Commission, Department of Public Safety, Department of Aging and Disability Services, public libraries, marriage license offices, to name a few. If this bill becomes law, those agencies will be required to offer voter registration while their officers are prohibited from offering voter registration. Ironically, this bill would specifically allow those agencies to invite a partisan political candidate to come into their office to offer voter registration for them. I understand the intent. I know we're trying to get at the Civitech thing. That's this legislature's prerogative. But I think this bill is way too broad to get at that. I think this bill, if you want to go after contractors specifically, that might be a better way to get at it. But this feels to me like trying to cut a nose hair with an axe. It's just way too broad. I think distributing voter registration forms is one of the core functions of a county voter registrar, and this bill would curtail that function drastically and needlessly. For those reasons, I oppose.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Members, any questions? Mr. Raymond?
Thank you, Chairman. So you said it's way too broad.
Yes, sir.
So can you envision a bill that you would write that would not be too broad, or what are you saying? Or do you think that there's any issue with any of the testimony that's been laid out as far as some of the problems that they've seen?
Yeah, I'm generally in favor of offices trying to get voter registration out to eligible folks
Well, me too.
however they can.
I think I said that. I don't know
Yes,
if
sir.
you're listening, but I said that a while
Yes,
ago. So, I'm trying to figure out, you've thought about this longer than I have probably because you wrote testimony and all. So do you think there's some things going on out there that maybe we could or may want to address?
Certainly if you want to have guidelines for contractors that county elections officers work with, I think
Guidelines like
ensuring
what?
they're nonpartisan, specific things that this legislature would like to see county spending money on. I think those are, reasonable within the prerogative of this legislature for sure.
So you have some ideas. I'm saying just because
Yes, sir.
you may want to talk to the author about some of the ideas that you have, and maybe you'd still be against the bill. I don't know, but maybe you could help him make it better, right?
Yes, sir.
So I would just encourage, and it'd certainly be helpful to me.
Great.
Because again, my position is I do want to, I want us to try to help more people get registered to vote.
Right.
And I don't care. I'm a Democrat.
Right.
I don't care. I don't ask them, hey, you Democrat, you Republican, you Libertarian, you whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I think it's important that more people participate in the electoral process, right? That's my hope. So if you have some suggestions, maybe you should pass them on to some of us or to the author.
Yes, sir. And as a nonpartisan operative, I totally agree with you. And I know that the companion bill, Senator Betancourt mentioned a committee sub they were working on. That was a couple weeks ago, I believe, over on the Senate State Affairs. I still haven't seen that committee sub, but there may already be something in the works.
Well, don't wait for it.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and put forth, don't wait for that.
Will do.
Because this process is going to move quickly at this point. We're more than halfway through the session.
Perfect.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions?
Yes.
Ms. Morales-Shaw?
I'm not sure if I missed, Emily. Did you mention how BDVRs are affected by this bill?
As I understand, VDRs wouldn't be impacted by this bill because they are not officials or employees of the state.
Officers or employees?
I believe
Okay.
so.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am, for being here.
Thank you.